in big league. The Trump administration refuses to be cowed by China. Late Wednesday afternoon it was announced that the president had blocked a Chinese-supported investor from acquiring an American tech firm. Consistent with the administration's commitment to take all actions necessary to ensure the protection of U.S. national security, the president issued an order prohibiting the acquisition, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said in a statement. Chinese private equity firm Canyon Bridge Capital Partners LLC was negotiating for control of American company Lattice Semiconductor Corp. When President Trump squashed the sale. China has been attempting to advance itself by purchasing American technology for years. The White House claims that the national security risks attending such acquisitions include the Chinese government's role in supporting this transaction, the importance of semiconductor supply chain integrity to the United States government, and the use of Lattice products by the United States government. Trump has adopted a much tougher stance toward China than his predecessor. Multiple high-profile deals between Chinese and American companies are now under review. Economists believe that if China continues to gobble up American companies, it could hurt the U.S. in the future. Lattice officials fought vehemently to save its $1.3 billion sale to Canyon Bridge. Do you like the new cleaner look of Yes I'm Right? If so, comment below. Source: New York Post. KFC just enraged every liberal in Ohio with new rule on sign they put up in their restaurant. Supporting police officers is not popular among liberals who hate to be held accountable and think it's racist when cops apprehend anyone who isn't Caucasian. The sign states, "All uniformed police officers eat free every day." This is to prove to them that they have the city's respect and that all of their hard work and dedication is definitely appreciated, Faith Tapp explained. A free warm meal is the perfect way to recharge their bodies and minds, which in turn, will keep the streets of Gallipolis even safer. Before anyone can say that the photo of this sign that went viral on social media was just a well-played public relations move to stir up business, the employees of this location said that it is true and they really do serve police officers for free every single day, all year long. Faith Tapp reports that not everyone in the neighborhood is happy about the gesture and some have reportedly criticized the KFC owners of this location for not extending the free meals to first responders and others as well. Officers in Ohio, one of whom runs the Ohio Going Blue Facebook page, said these critics are missing the much bigger picture. As an officer, I do not go into any establishment expecting, or wanting anything to be free or even a discount, whether I'm in uniform or not, and I can tell you other officers feel the same way. We don't like special treatment. The fact is that KFC is acknowledging law enforcement, which is why this was posted. To those who stated that other first responders should also be acknowledged. My answer: absolutely. This isn't about the free food. It's about a show of respect for the job they do, which has been missing in society. With the surge in anti-cop rhetoric represented on the sidelines with every kneeling or sitting football player, each sign or show of gratitude for police officers in this country is still important. "24 HRS after 9/11 Memorial. Everyone sees incredible secret thing Ivanka did the entire time. The terrorist attack that launched us into a war is one that we won't soon forget, and the president was no different." Despite the incredible number of people who like to make disparaging comments about the president and his family, the first couple, as well as Ivanka and Jared Kushner, were there to show their dedication to the president and country. The president's daughter and son-in-law's team of advisors have been questioned and harassed for the aid they give the president, but they take it in stride. Those who try to bash the president for his relationship with his daughter seem to completely overlook the fact that she's acting in an adult capacity and actually helping the country, unlike any other first daughter in recent history. The president and first lady then made their way to the Pentagon for a formal 9/11 remembrance ceremony, where they were once again joined by Ivanka. President Trump is a native of New York and was in Manhattan on the day that plane hijacking terrorists brought down the World Trade Center's iconic Twin Towers. His daughter Ivanka was also born and raised in the city, where she was bringing up her own 3 children before moving to D.C. to support her father in his role as president. Former NFL player shows up at Hermes shelter and gets the surprise of his life inside. According to his former coach in an interview from a few months ago, Tebow is as real as they get, Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Dan Mullen has been around Tim Tebow enough over the years to get an idea of who his former player is. On Friday, Mullen's opinion of Tebow was only reinforced while walking the red carpet at the 7th annual Tim Tebow Foundation Celebrity Gala and Golf Classic at TPC Sawgrass this weekend. Overall, Mullen served in the position from 2005-08, while Tebow was a quarterback at the school from 2006-09. In addition to his work as an athlete and SEC network analyst, Tebow also runs the Tim Tebow Foundation for his charitable work. It's nice to see that in a world of Kaepernicks and Bennett's there are still Tebows and Watts. Hopefully, stars like Tebow serve to show us that fame doesn't have to corrupt someone if their faith is sincere. Libs furious at who's begging Trump for special favor only he can do, and it's not because he's Prez. British Prime Minister Theresa May has petitioned US President Donald Trump over a threat to jobs at the Bombardier plant in Belfast because of a trade dispute with the Boeing company. Now rival aircraft firm, Boeing, has complained to the US authorities that the deal was unfairly subsidized by the Canadian government and that Bombardier engaged in price dumping by agreeing to sell 75 of their planes for almost $14 million below their cost price. Bloomberg reports, May asked Trump to intervene in Boeing Bombardier dispute. UK Prime Minister Theresa May asked US President Donald Trump to intervene in a court dispute between Boeing Company and Canada's Bombardier Incorporated over state aid, her office said. May is expected to discuss Boeing and other issues with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau during a visit to Ottawa on September 18, a Canadian government official said, speaking on condition they not be identified since a formal announcement has not been made. Alongside May's intervention, Business Secretary Greg Clark traveled to Chicago to meet with Boeing executives to try to find a solution to the dispute and safeguard about 4,500 jobs in Bombardier's Northern Ireland unit, his office said. Talks break off. David McNaughton, Canada's ambassador to Washington, told reporters Tuesday that Boeing had walked away from talks with his government over the issue and that he has now raised it with U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. For whatever reason they decided they weren't going to continue to have discussions, McNaughton said, adding Boeing's complaint stems from the sale of planes to Delta Airlines Incorporated, a purchase that he said Boeing was not even competing for. Breaking: Trump just ended welfare for one huge group for 5 years. Let the riots erupt. The immigration rules will prohibit migrants from coming to the country and taking advantage of free American welfare money right away. America is open to migrants, but perhaps we don't want migrants who can't fend for themselves. The idea seems to be that in order for America to grant visas or citizenship, the migrant has to give something back to the country. It's as though the government wants to stop people coming to America and living off the system and would prefer people coming to the country to be contributors. Migrants who enter the United States cannot receive welfare during their first 5 years in the country, President Trump revealed from his upcoming immigration overhaul. You cannot get welfare for 5 years when you come into our country. You cannot just come in like in past weeks, years, and decades. You come in immediately and start picking up welfare. For 5 years, you have to say you will not be asking or using our welfare systems. Compare that to Germany, where Chancellor Angela Merkel opened the border to millions of unvetted migrants who can't speak German and lack employable skills, which dooms them to perpetual welfare paid by German taxpayers, and boredom that manifests into terrorist attacks against, once again, German taxpayers. If you let too many low illiterate people into the country, then they have kids who could be illiterate, then over time, it would only decrease the overall intelligence of the country and civilization in America would suffer. U.S. Marine humiliates Michelle Obama in epic fashion, she's livid. You live in a free country to blame your poor pathetic life on the color of another man's skin. All colors have given their lives for an educated woman to have the freedom to be so ignorant. I love all colors because I love all that God creates. God is love and creates every color to include our skin. I will stay here and love all Americans, regardless of skin. Not because of their color but for the character and love they carry within. You will never be remembered as the First Lady of color but soon forgotten after you leave the White House. Check out how Melania treated her flight crew after unanticipated issue with her staff. First Lady Melania Trump has only been in that role for a few months, appearing in person in that capacity at the side of the president on just a few special occasions: dinner with the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and his wife, International Women's Day and the White House Easter egg roll. For many, she is the mysterious beauty who is a dedicated mother, but to others, she is a former model born in a communist country who married a rich older man. In fact, Melania is an intensely private person who doesn't seek the limelight, it finds her, but when it does she fills her role with an elegance not seen since the likes of Nancy Reagan and Jacqueline Kennedy. Whether she is holding the Bible at her husband's inauguration or descending the stairs of Air Force One, the camera shifts from the president to the First Lady, but she has been reluctant to actively draw attention to herself, until now.